Do you see yourself as valuable? You should. When God made the first man, he saw that his creation was very good. And that means that every person that has ever been born, including you, has seeds of success within them. All we need to do is water them and feed them, and they will grow. So, why do so many people fail to reach their God-given potential in life? One of the key reasons is low self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves. They possess hundreds of possibilities, but they never nurture them because they have persuaded themselves that they are incapable of learning and growing into something amazing. If you don't believe that you are valuable and worth investing in, you will never spend the time and effort necessary to develop into what God made you to be. The late American author, salesman, and motivational speaker Zig Ziglar said, "It's impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves." The Apostle Paul was humble. He was aware of his total dependence on God, but he also had a healthy sense of self-worth. Here's what he wrote to those who believed in him and supported his ministry, as we see in Philippians chapter 4, verses 13 and 14. "I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Yet it was good of you to share in my troubles." I love the fact that others are sharing in Paul's ministry, and he is well aware of the fact that their help is a vital part of his ministry, even though it is the Lord who is ultimately supplying all that he needs. He knows that it is Christ who is his strength, and he is totally reliant on Christ. So it is important that we see ourselves as valuable because God does, and he is the one who equips us for what he calls us to. The prophet Isaiah speaks of God's love for us when he tells the people of Israel in Isaiah 43:4, "Since you are precious and honored in my sight, and because I love you, I will give people in exchange for you, nations in exchange for your life." And he did. He gave us Jesus to die in exchange for our lives. That's how we know how much God loves us. Now, if you want to be a 10, but your self-esteem is a 5, you will never achieve at the level of a 10. You will achieve a 5 or lower, according to author John Maxwell. Why? He says it's because we cannot surpass the image we have of ourselves. Low self-esteem puts a cap on our potential. So where does our low self-esteem come from? Other people. We value the input of others more than we value the opinion of God. And the most important people in our lives repeatedly tell us that they expect us to go nowhere when that happens, and they expect us to achieve nothing of worth. That is what we eventually start believing about ourselves. And that is like downloading a virus onto your computer. It will destroy our God-given potential. So what is the answer? Instead of believing what others say about us, we need to find out and believe what God says about us. After all, who knows the value and potential of a product more than the manufacturer who made it? In the book of Jeremiah, we see that when God called Jeremiah to be a prophet to the nation of Israel, Jeremiah's response was filled with excuses, as we see in Jeremiah 1:6. "Alas, sovereign Lord," I said, "I do not know how to speak. I am too young." And this is after God said to him in verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart, and I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Perhaps you can identify with Jeremiah. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm not the right nationality. I don't know the language. I don't have the right education. I don't have enough money. But note what God said next to Jeremiah in verses 7 and 8. "But the Lord said to me, do not say I am too young. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord." Changing your self-image begins with changing your self-talk. In order to see yourself as valuable, begin to see yourself as God sees you. And you are valuable. I hope that you will join us this Sunday for worship at the Village Church. Our services are at 9 and 11 a.m. And if you can't make it in person, please join us anytime online on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel at the Village Church at World Golf Village. And I'm sure you've all been watching the coverage of the devastating wildfires in Southern California. Samaritan's Purse will be helping people who lost homes with debris removal once cleanup begins, among other work related to rebuilding. And Samaritan's Purse has deployed 20 chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team to provide spiritual support, and they're already on the ground. If you would like to donate, you can do so directly at www.samaritanspurse.org or by giving to the Village Church and marking on the memo line, Disaster Relief. All funds received by the Village Church will be donated to Samaritan's Purse. Please keep all those affected and those serving in the affected areas in your prayers. I love you, church. May God's blessings be yours this weekend. Have a great day.